fingerprinting, and gel electrophoresis have been used in many crime scenes to determine who was involved in the event. One example of a crime that was solved using DNA fingerprinting is the case of the Intergalactic baseball game. Every year, the alien residents of the neighboring green and blue planets get together to compete in an intergalactic baseball game. This year, at a pool party days before the game, the blue planet's star player Bobby slipped on an ice cream cone that was strategically placed in his path. He broke his legs, and fans demanded the use of gel electrophoresis to determine who was responsible for sabotaging the outcome of the game. 4 suspects were present at the crime scene when Bobby fell. They were James, a teammate of Bobby's, Brad, a player from the opposing green team, and 2 women, Sally and Susan, who were fans from the green planet. Officials collected DNA samples from the ice cream cone as well as from the victim and suspects. Shown is the results from the first locus tested. A suspect can only remain a suspect if they match the evidence at all alleles of the locus. For this locus, only James and Susan can still be considered suspects. They match the DNA of the evidence exactly. Bobby and Brad only match the evidence at 1 allele, and Sally matches at no alleles, eliminating them as suspects. The same information can be looked at for the second locus tested. At this locus, Bobby, Sally, and Susan all match the evidence at both alleles. Brad matches at 1 allele and James matches at no alleles, so they can be eliminated as suspects. Putting this information together, officials are able to determine who committed the crime. From locus 1, Bobby, the victim, Sally, and Brad can all be eliminated as suspects. From locus 2, James and Brad can be eliminated as suspects. There is only one person who is not eliminated at either of the loci. This person is Susan. Susan was the only person whose DNA matched the DNA of the evidence in all alleles of both loci. This shows that Susan committed the crime. Looking at the DNA fingerprinting analysis, we can determine that as well as being guilty, Susan is also Brad's mother. Children get half of their DNA from each parent, so at each locus, they must have half of their alleles that are identical to each parent. Looking at both locus 1 and 2, we can see that Brad matches Susan at exactly 50% of the alleles. They are the only 2 who have 50% of their alleles matching, showing that they are related, and Susan is the biological mother of Brad. To wrap up, Susan was the only suspect that matched all of the alleles at both loci, proving that she committed the crime. It was also determined that Susan was Brad's mother. From this information, we can assume that Susan planted the ice cream cone to give her son a better chance at winning the baseball game.